And we are back again with another episode of the Childish Grown Up Show. It is truly lovely, like the month we're in, still in our Candy Graham month, giving out flowers to our crushes. The crushes being the movies that we're talking about. I am Maurice Hunt III. Some of you may know me as Mo, but I'm not alone. I'm here with my wonderful two co-hosts, Ash Bash and Mia G. How you ladies doing today?
What'd you say, Ash?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Me
Mm,
too. It's been quite a week already,
mm,
and that's in the past 2 days.
that's
But
crazy.
oh, but we doing good.
Well, good, good. Going through it this week is definitely well, I'll speak to it a little later in the segment, but I'm glad y'all doing well. I'm doing well as well, all things considered. And this definitely is a boost of adrenaline. That nostalgia, throw that nostalgia in the needle and I'm throwing it right in the vein. You know what I mean? So it's gonna definitely give me the high I'm looking for today. Hopefully it gives y'all the high with the movie that we're reviewing today. I hope it gives y'all the same kind of high that I'm gonna get from talking about film today. So, without further ado, before we get fully into the show, we like to make sure that we acknowledge the Stoop Kids. If y'all want to reach out to us, of course, y'all people leave comments on YouTube, but you can also reach out to us on childishgrownups3 at gmail.com. I know as this thing goes on, we'll get more Stoop Kids getting off the stoop and reaching out and look forward to it. So, we got one this week from our guy who's just a steady supporter and is truly grateful for him as well as Mama C. And congratulations to Mama C. Uh,
Yeah.
Public Enemy B commented on our last episode, the Jason's Lyric episode. Only reason I knew the answer to the Keenan and Kel trivia question was because of the episode where Kel made the cold medicine that put him to sleep. So I think he was referring to the trivia question that Ash had about what did Keenan's dad do for a living. And so how we end up getting that right by process of elimination. But it's funny, he probably was thinking about it too in the time we were in. Like, there's always one thing that kind of clues you in. So shout out to Public Enemy B for that, man. Yeah, that's the fun, man. Yeah, and that's all of our comments this week from the Stoop Kids, y'all. Like I said, y'all know the handles. The information is in the description. Childish grown up moments this week. Ash Bash, what you got? Do you got something for us this week? Was you being childish, exceptionally childish this week?
Got something for you this week. It's something small, but me and my husband were talking about Hamburger Helper. I don't know
Oh,
how we got on the topic of it, and just talking about how I despise Hamburger Helper as an adult. It just reminds me, growing up, Mia, we always ate Hamburger Helper, bro. Like, Dad, he was the king of Hamburger Helper. He tried to vamp it up. You got the cheeseburger mac, then you got
mm-hmm.
the little Salisbury joint. It's
Oh,
just, it's only so many ways you can ramp up Hamburger Helper, bro. And to this day, me and bro,
mm-mm.
we will not eat no Hamburger Helper. Like, they burnt it out. I get it, you gotta. It is easy to feed a house full with that, and it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you, I don't ever want to eat Hamburger Helper again.
Hey, you know what's
So
worse? You know what's worse than that though?
what?
Manwich.
I fuck with sandwich though, because
Nah,
I eat mine on chips like Doritos. I don't do the sandwich though. I can't do the I can't do the
bro,
sandwich. I can eat it like a
Manwich. I by far like, bro. I'll still give. The only thing Hamburger Helper I may do like a what's the joint with the cream and like the little square wavy pasta? It's
Valley brand,
no,
that
what
suddenly
what is
vent
it?
brand.
It's a specific. Dang, I can't remember right now. Somebody on the other side listening, like, oh, he's talking about this. I can't remember, but it's like you use ground beef, but you use like this creamy kind of flavor. Um, God, whatever it is, it may come back to me later in the show, but it's something I still get with that though. But other than that, yeah, I'm with you, like, bro. But Manwich, yeah, that's what makes me like, because it's like the laziest meal. It's like ground beef and ketchup, bro. Like it's like ground meatloaf or something. Yeah.
I think all the dads did the hamburger helper because my dad was a hamburger helper king as well.
Mm.
You burnt out me, G.
I won't touch the stuff.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was my moment.
That's good. That's really good. Shout out to T, man. What about you, Meg G? You got a childish grown up moment this week?
You don't know. The only thing I can really think of is I made some people, some friends of mine, watch Wicked over the weekend.
Like, was you pressing the issue?
I was, yeah, like, you want to watch Wicked? You want to watch Wicked? You've never seen it. You need to see it. It's been out for months.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the whole time I'm just singing, like trying to be quiet.
Oh,
That's what
you
you
one of
do.
them. You ain't took it from the theater to the crib, and you still like, man, that's funny. For me, it's a childish grown up moment, but it was more childish than anything. So, my aunt in law, my wife's auntie came, and her son was there. He's like, like a sixth grader, so he's probably like 11, I think, maybe. So they came over. We said, "Hey, y'all, let's do some karaoke, man." So we get into karaoke, having a good time, having fun. Like it'd been a minute. So I'm looking at him, and he starts to type in KEND. I was like, "Hey man, I gotta go grab something from upstairs." So I grabbed something from upstairs, and I'm up there for the entire time, right? So I come back down. We back in our R&B vibes is all that. I was like, all right, y'all, man, I gotta go ahead and hit the hay, but I gotta do, I gotta do one more song before I get out of here. Man, you better believe I threw that Family Matters on and he walked out of the room, bro. I was like, bro, this is a kid. I was like, cause I just had to be that childish. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I can't stand him. I do not like him. Like I was like, bro, I had to get it off and with so much conviction. So much
Absolutely.
passion. Like I was like, so to speak, made him turn his TV off. You know what I mean? So very childish of me. That is, if y'all have heard me on other shows, y'all know that is true Mo fashion. And that was such a childish grown up moment. And it was so funny. Like I laughed about it. Like, I was like, bro, what is wrong with me?
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Look at me. But man, we love everybody on both sides. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that's our childish grown up moments. Again, if y'all want to reach out, send in your childish grown ups moment. Don't be scared. Hit us up, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. You know what time it is, Ash? Give it to them.
Right. If you are a YouTube watcher, you see the light is on. It is time for the Flash with Ash. So I'm mixing it all around the board today for y'all. So I got a quick fun fact, well, a couple fun facts, and then one question for y'all, and then we got some this or that, okay?
Cool.
So, quick fun fact, there was a lot of friction on set between Ryan and Rachel in real life. It was said that Ryan tried to get Rachel out of here, like get her out the movie. He went to the director.
You sure you don't want to save this?
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
I want to say this because I just thought that was crazy and how, the chemistry on set was amazing, but he couldn't stand her. He said, "Is there anybody else that could read for her? Like I can't with her." And then they said they end up going in a room together and having like a screaming match and came out and pretty much was like, "Okay, let's do this." But they did not like each other.
Crazy.
That's a mic drop.
Yo, that is mine. I cannot wait to tell my wife, bro.
I know. I was baffled.
We just talked about this with Mia with Sex in the City, right? We just talked about
chemistry be so good and they can't see
that you are really an actor. You like, bruh.
And I wonder what it was. Like, I just wonder. It just makes you want to dig deeper into it.
It does. Like, who's the bigger star at that point? Because it feels like it's got to be built around that, like the ego thing, kind of like somebody, whoever's the bigger star at the time. I feel like
it would have had to have been Rachel McAdams because I feel like this was his first big
right.
Yeah.
For him to be talking to the directors, telling him to get her out of here, that's kind of like how much pull. I think they already had him first,
I think so.
and they were trying to find the girl. So then that could also be a thing too. Another fact just in that is Jessica Biel auditioned for Allie, and she said she really wanted the role. I think that's dope. I kind of think I could see Jessica Biel.
Is there any place y'all think she couldn't have tapped into? Because there's obviously a range of emotions when we do finally get to the review of it. Is there any place y'all think? And I know you've seen a little bit more of her work than I have, Ash, and probably you too, Mia. Is there any place y'all felt she may have been a little more limited? Because obviously it's going to be a different, role. But do y'all feel like there was any place?
I think it would have been a challenge for her because just from what I've seen, I haven't seen too much on the emotional side. So it would have been interesting to see. Like I could just picture her being Allie, but I think it would have been a uphill battle. But she said she really wanted that part. So that's
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean, I wonder how many people audition for that, because when this movie is coming together, it's golden. Like, because the everything, we'll get there, but like the whole setup, the twist, the front, the back, the internal, the external storytelling. Like, who wouldn't? When you read that script, you're like, oh, I gotta have it. You know what I mean? So, so she was like the runner up, or that's just a notable name.
that's just a notable name.
Mm.
And she was just like, of course projection sucks, but she really wanted it. She auditioned covered in blood because she was filming something else. So she did the audition, and I forget what she was filming already, but Mia, what were you gonna say? Your take on it?
No, I was just gonna say probably why she did want it was to be able to show a little bit more range that hadn't been seen before.
Yeah.
Did this movie come out after Honey?
Look up Honey.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some. I'm gonna try to see if I can see some other actors that audition for this movie.
Yeah,
what year was this one?
Honey.
Was
this was 2004. Honey was 2003.
Okay, so real quick, while we on it, Ash, a couple of other people that auditioned: Britney Spears, Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
I think she could have got there. Claire Danes, Kate Bosworth, Amy Adams, Jamie King, Mandy Moore, Ashley Judd. Here's an interesting one: Reese Witherspoon.
I feel like they're too
Reese. Yeah, they're old.
Or even at the time, they would have been a little too old for that.
Here's the craziest one of them all: Jennifer Lawrence. She was 13 at the time of this movie, bro. She's our age. Like, she was 13, but she was considered, but she was just considered too young. So, which obviously, I mean, yeah, but that's interesting though. Britney Spears, that I mean, that would have hurt the movie because of lack of acting experience. But if she really took it serious, I was a huge Britney Spears fan, and had a big crush on her too. She was definitely one of them ones. Yeah, we love Britney. Like, she ain't never did us wrong, I feel like. All right, my bad. Little side tangent.
One time too, but okay. So let's get into this trivia question. You're right. This is coming from Seinfeld. Y'all was saying last episode, oh, Seinfeld this and Seinfeld that. I say, you know what? Let me put these stupid kids to test, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there's no multiple choice. I'm not playing. So y'all better be on it.
Okay.
What are the names of George's horses at his fictitious home in the Hamptons?
I think I know one. Prickly Pete.
Okay.
And dang it, what's the other one? He's like, yeah, I got horses too. Suction, Prickly Pete. Yep, I got a couple horses. Just lying to Susan's parents. I know that's who he was lying to, and they let him. They
Yeah,
wrote.
I remember
They wrote.
that.
God, but I do
Prickly
not know.
Pete is one of them. That is correct.
I could not tell you the other one, but George is a wild boy. Come on, I need you, man. Come on, you gotta get.
I don't know.
This is such a.
It's such a weird detail.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Hey, I'm satisfied with at least one of them. Like that's super random. So
you got that. Like, that was good because I wouldn't have been able to tell you.
man, what you
Okay.
got? Well, I mean, what's the answer, Ash?
The next one is Snoopy.
Snoopy and Prickly. George, I
Again,
love
this
George.
is all foreign to me.
Yeah.
You need to watch it. Like, I mean, I'm putting this up there, man. I'm putting a special order in. You gotta, hey, you gotta get it in. I'm telling you.
No, I watched a couple episodes. Like I
The f-
enjoy the ones that I've saw. I just watching how many seasons?
9.
Ooh, that's a
But
big
it's
commitment.
so-
But
it's
but
so funny.
it's white. I this is a crazy way to put it. It's not, but it is. I'm gonna say it that it's White Martin.
I
It's,
give you that.
it's White Martin. Like when we look at Martin as excellent when we talk about sitcoms.
Yeah.
Seinfeld is on that same level on the white side. So
Okay.
trust me. That first season, they're trying to find that, but once they get the second season, it's going. It's going. When Elaine gets introduced, it's going. And bruh.
And like I said, the ones that I did see, I do think he's funny. So it's like I do like that kind of humor. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I
Yeah.
enjoy the ones that I saw. I just haven't fully commit. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Mia, real quick. Who's your favorite out of the 4?
On Seinfeld,
Mm-hmm.
that's tough because they're all so different and I'll bring something different. Of course, I love Jerry. Like, I love Jerry, but I think if it had to be somebody who just provides moments,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, it's hard.
It's hard.
because
The other three is
Kramer is crazy, but I think George low-key has all the like moments.
yes. He's the star to me.
Like, he's unhinged, but in the most understated way.
Bro. We gonna figure out some kind of Seinfeld setup, bro. Because it's gotta happen. Because there's so much I want to say about it, but I know this is not the platform. So, but yeah, George for me as well. So sorry, Ash. A little side tangent.
do your thing, no problem at all. All right, let's get into this or that. Bad Boys 1 or 2.
Hey, I want to say shout out to Coach Garden. Of course, 1. Like I've spoke with so much conviction over it. If y'all haven't listened, go listen to the Culture Garden episode, Bad Boys, where I spoke about it. Like I spoke with so much conviction, but 1 by far. Like it's 1.
I wouldn't say by far for me, just because I really love them both for different reasons. I feel like in the second one, they kind of I just really love their chemistry, their dynamic. But I would have to go with 1 just because, I mean, I think 1 focuses more on them as characters
Mm-hmm.
and not so much on the action. Like, it's action, but it focuses on them individually as characters.
That's
A
true.
little.
That's true.
Love them both though. Like, I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I can get with 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ash, what about you? What about you? You never get to answer these. You don't get to answer these. So what about you?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Bad Boys 1 for me.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it was more balanced with Martin and Will. It wasn't so. I don't know. I think the second one we started to see where they were putting Will a little more further than Martin. So,
Mhm.
Okay, Una or go ahead.
I would say I could see that. Yeah. I could see
Mm. Uno or Connect 4?
Uno.
Uno.
I'm gonna go with Uno because you have so many Unos available. But I do like Connect Four though. I'll bust somebody in that real quick.
Hey, we just played Uno No Mercy. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Wasn't as bad as I thought at all.
It's not.
Not at
Now,
all.
more people, the better, of course,
Yeah.
because it gets deadly.
I thought I was gonna be hot about like all of the different tricks that's in it, but it was that should have been my childish grown up moment. But Uno.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64?
No, I gotta go 64.
I would say Nintendo 64.
We are all in agreement. Nintendo 64.
WWF No Mercy. You already know, like that alone. And
All day.
if we got to throw a couple more in there, just real quick, you got GoldenEye 007. Come on.
Mhm.
And I got to throw Super Smash Bros in there. Not to mention Mario 64, Mario Kart. And I'm going to leave it there. But those are some super staples on the 64.
Which one you right? All right, Fruity Pebbles or Frosted Flakes? We both know they dissolve quickly. Which one y'all rolling with?
This is a good battle.
I'm a Frosted Flakes girl.
Definitely the flakes. The pebbles, I never like Fruity Pebbles. They're just too small. Like they're just too small. Frosted Flakes, they still get busy.
You can get that crunch a little longer.
You can still, you get a little bit of like,
Yes.
Fruity Pebbles.
I'm going Frosted Flakes too. Yeah. The pebbles are too small. They really are pebbles. Like it's just, and then the crunch is just not, it's not enough. You got to have a spoonful just to,
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Pop-Tarts or toaster strudels? I'm going to put this out here.
Go ahead.
If you had the strudels, man, you had some bread, man. That was like high end. You hear me? Like,
bro.
We wasn't getting toaster strudels like that. Like moms and them was not buying. That was like high end.
Oh, bro. Talk.
Listen,
You had bread, dude.
I love a toaster strudel. Okay,
a strudel get you got so much class when you eating a toasted strudel in the morning. Like you put your pinky out when you got a knife and fork eating a strudel. You hear me, bro? Like the strudel.
You creating art. You making your own.
Hey, listen. Ash, when we did have the strudel, it never looked like the package. Like you remember they had the perfect little stripes on it. Bro, we put it on there, just put a spoon and roll the icing all across the whole joint. Bro. But the strudel was, I'm gonna go Pop-Tart though, but the strudel was just it was low-key really messy, even though Pop-Tarts is really crummy. But the strudel it seemed like it was just like low-key messy, just on the sticky side of things. But strudel probably
more effort.
Yeah, a little more effort, a little more time consuming, it felt like. But the Pop-Tart is the OG. Like you can pack it with your lunch. Even when it's crumbly, you still mess around and might eat it, even though it's crumbled up in the foil. You know what I mean? So I'm going Pop-Tart.
Don't get me wrong, I still get down with Pop-Tarts, but I just, I was a toaster strudel girl.
They had that bag over there in Ohio.
Yeah, they had that bag. They had that bag in Ohio. You know what I mean? Huh?
Absolutely. Okay. Boy, just a few more and. Hey, but I gotta go with Pop-Tarts just because it's just easier on the grab. But me personally, I like them both heated up. Like I like my Pop-Tarts in the toaster, a little bit of butter on the back. I don't really like it standard. Like you can give it to me. I'm not really feeling it.
The s'mores can work though. The s'mores can work at room temperature. That's about it though.
I'm a strawberry Pop-Tart girl in the toaster.
Absolutely.
Yo,
but I like that one. They got the cookies and cream or the hot fudge sundae. That one.
Hot fudge sundae. Okay, yeah.
Fire.
Yo, real quick, we're this old, like Instagram posts. Y'all remember when a wild berry came out?
Absolutely.
You remember there was two versions of wild berry. Like there was a purple version and like a pink version. Like the purple one still exists now. But the pink one you don't see
with the blue little.
Yeah. But the pink one had like I I forgot what the other color was on the strip, but like people don't remember when there was two different wild. I remember when that was new. Like I mess around, got to throw the commercial on the joint, man. I don't know. Might have to throw that in there, man, just on some nostalgia. But anyway, I love this, Ash. This is fire, man.
Yeah, taking us back. I wanted to switch it up real quick. Just
Yeah.
3 more and we can get into it.
Mhm.
Boys to Men or New Edition?
I'm sorry, New Edition. I love y'all, and I think the biopic really helped, but it's just a generational thing. I didn't grow up on New Edition. They were like a little bit before Boys to Men. Obviously, Michael Bivins discovered them. But Boys to Men, like they got. If I ever heard voices that it was as close to heaven, it's them guys. My goodness, especially when Christmas time come around. Oh my God, them dudes harmony. Just one song that like I'm doing just fine, bro. Oh my God, have you heard this, Ash? That
Yeah,
I'm doing just fine. But anyway, yeah.
I got to hear some, some melodies on it.
Yeah.
That's really, really hard. That is so hard. Oh my God.
It is hard.
Ooh, that's really hard. I love Boyz II Men, but I'm gonna have to go with New Edition.
Oh, okay.
I'm not mad at it.
I ain't either.
They dance more too, don't they? Like kind of
They
move around a little
did. They
bit.
just had a longer run, like from childhood up through adulthood. I think it's just, I don't know. I have to go with New Edition.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Boys to Men. That End of the Road alone is just too heavy. Too heavy. And I'll Make Love to You. Like them two by themselves is out of here. Oh my goodness.
I can't but the only thing is that might be top 5. I don't know if people listen to R&B Money podcast with Tank and Jay Valentine, but when they be talking about top 5 R&B songs, that New Edition, that Can You Stand the Rain, bro? Oh my God. Like when they did the movie, it really emphasized. I said, yo, this might be top 5 for me ever. Like, cause that love's impossible. I know that, bruh. What? Like, and now we're at the age we understand. Anyways, man, what else you gotta ask?
The last 2, y'all. Domino's or Pizza Hut? What was you rocking with back then?
It was Pizza Hut round my way.
Of course it was, man.
Man, you know what time it was. Pizza Hut had the Scholastics, bro. What are we talking about? Pizza Hut was a vibe going in there back then, dude. Like you would get the coupons and you would see Pizza Hut. Remember the little flip books they give you at school? It's like 1 million coupons in that little flip book. Bro, it was Pizza Hut, dog. Like, yeah, absolutely Pizza Hut, man. Shout out to Pizza Hut, bro. And it almost, we used to call it, like low key, I used to call it like Pizza Hunt because our last name Hunt, you know what I mean? It's Hut. Of course that little that, but yeah, Pizza Hut, man, absolutely.
Go to Pizza Hut. They had the little wing too. Like I like their wings back in the day. All right, last one, y'all. Let's finish it out. Cash Money or No Limit? What we doing? I'm a no limit soldier.
This is a rough one because this is all dad vibe right here.
Yeah, man, I had to put us all the way in the nostalgia. You hear me?
Okay, I got to do it this way only because it connects more to my childhood. You already got your answer to me? Okay, me is still thinking.
I do. I have mine.
Okay, well you go ahead.
It's hard too.
It's hard.
But I have to go with Cash Money.
Why?
Because I mean, the Hot Boys.
Okay, that's exactly what I was getting at.
Like, come on.
Like, listen, I'm gonna pick you right off there. I got Cash Money as well because I remember specifically being in daycare, having friends in daycare. Actually, you probably weren't around for it, but having friends in daycare, and we looked at, like how boy bands were back in the day and stuff like that. You're like, oh, I like this person out of the boy band or this, or like Power Rangers. You choose. Back, we grew up in the era where you get to choose. Oh, I like this Ninja Turtle. This, we treated the Hot Boys like that. And you're like, okay, I'm Juvie. or I'm Wayne, and nobody want. I was, shout out to the Cash Money, but nobody wanted to be Turk. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, I'm Manny Fresh, and so it was a real thing back. I remember as a kid, like I was just like that number one stunner. So I love No Limit, but Cash Money was just more connected to our childhood, in my opinion. So,
No limit.
what'd you say?
No, I'm gonna go with No Limit.
Mm.
Mr. P, he just had air, make him say, and then nah. I don't know. I gotta go with No Limit. And then they clothes, I like the style, and
Mm-hmm.
so I gotta go with them, man.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong, because I get down to both.
Oh yeah, we get down like No Limit. Don't get it
How
twisted.
you
Like,
do that there?
bro, that's what I'm
But
saying. That mystical joint. Come on, that Here I Go. Come on, like we getting.
we go get down to both.
Yeah, man, bro. I remember years ago. Pass me some weed. I need some weed. I mean, pass me some. I need some weed with my Hennessy. Like, okay, they'll give me stuff. I was like, yo, what is this? Anyway,
You know. I like the ones that'll tell me this, like, don't because I turn into another person.
You know what I'm saying? Wah. Oh man, that's it.
Flash flash. I hope you had a good time.
Now, I like that. You keep figuring out how to remix it, and it is excellent. I'm telling you that in real time. That it is excellent what you're doing there. You're drenching us as well as the Stoop kids listening in nostalgia. So I'm loving it. Great job.
Thank you.
Fun every time. It's my favorite segment.
It really is, though. Like I'm having and I'm glad you got to actually participate in it this time.
I like when I do those because I get to say a little piece.
Yeah. I want you to get a little bit of that vibe too. All right. Well, now that we're doing that, since we already a little bit back, we need Mia G to pull that lever and take us all the way back to the year of this film.
Okay, we're going back to 2004, and we're going to talk about the classic. I'll put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a classic. The Notebook. Synopsis: An elderly man reads to a woman with dementia the story of two young lovers whose romance is threatened by the difference in their respective social classes. For cast, we have Gina Rowland as Allie Calhoun. We have James Garner as Duke, aka Older Noah. We have Ryan Gosling as Noah, Rachel McAdams as Allie, Sam Shepard as Frank Calhoun, David Thornton as John Hamilton, Joan Allen as Anne Hamilton, Kevin Connolly as Finn, and we also have an appearance from Starletta Dupois as Nurse Esther. And this film was released June 25th, 2004.
Okay. I'm loving this. Y'all, we're gonna do something different, and y'all just stay tapped in because we are restructuring some things in the show. We're still in the development stage, so y'all bear with us. But I think what we're gonna do today is gonna be some super dope and some of the best podcasting you're gonna get in general, but even more specifically from us childish grown-ups. So with that being said, let's go rewind a little bit. I'm the newest to the party when it comes to this, but Ash and Mia are a little bit more familiar. So Ash, I'm gonna throw the ball in your court first. When we're gonna do the rewind. How do you remember this film back then? Again, it don't have to be what's your first time, but how do you, just from your own recollection, how do you remember it then versus like watching it now?
I think that's what I remember it. I think I remember it the same way. I thought it was a dope love story. Two kids from different sides of the town coming together, finding love. I just remember liking it off first watch. Of course, you know me, hopeless romantic anyway, so I'm always down for a good romantic movie. I will say I didn't realize that Noah and Allie were the elderly people.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get that off like initial watch or even after the first couple. Like I didn't even realize that. I was like, oh, so that made me like it even more when I found that out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. What say you, Mig G?
So surprisingly, I was a little late to the party with this. I think I didn't see it until probably 2006
Oh, okay.
because I'll say I was a huge Titanic loyalist. And everybody
Mm,
was talking about like this new epic love story, and they were comparing it to Titanic. And I'm like, no, nothing will ever compare.
yeah.
And so I was like really anti for a while. It was so hyped up, and I was like, eh. But then when I watched it, I was like, okay, I'm with it. It's really sweet. And I did love like the whole story, that he was reading to her, and like this tragically beautiful love story. And I've loved it ever since. I've seen it many times. But yeah, when it first came out, I was super anti. I was like, nope, Titanic will always be the greatest.
Yeah, of course.
But
Loyalty. You know what I mean? I like it. It's funny because you say that because now I'm looking at Titanic. I mean, again, some of these movies came out after Titanic, but now when I look at it, it's like, I'm looking at like we done Poseidon and now we're doing this. And I feel like those mesh together as Titanic, right? Poseidon and Notebook, right? It's an interesting thing. But who knows, when we get to that point, we'll revisit it. But it kind of feels like that in my mind. But for me, this was my first time watching. I brought it up as a movie. This was my pick this week, and I told you my wife inspired me to pick this just because she was like, "What about this?" And I was like, it's cliche. People, kind of similar to me and G's thoughts. And when I watched it, I was very impressed. And there's a specific line, there's a specific moment that like I got hyped like it was a football game. And when we get there, I'll speak to it. So I don't have a rewind. This is more of a current, like literally this year that y'all are hearing this. This was my first time watching it. Then watching it the second time, still same vibe. Like it connected again. Like I watched it then just as a pick. I watched it again to take notes. I was like, oh, it's still hidden. And so, man, truly enjoyable movie. I did. Well, I will say my first watch, I did call early. Oh, this is probably them later. Like the old people, I picked it up pretty quickly because again, this is '04, but we're privy to the year that we're in to be able to like pick up things sooner. So for me, I picked it up somewhere in the middle where I like, oh, okay, this is them too. And I'll speak to that a little bit later and some things. So let's get a little bit into some overall discussion. And then this all kind of ties into the overall discussion, the way it's set up here. So, we all got something to bring to the table and we'll get there. So my first question I want to ask y'all, this movie is called The Notebook. But have y'all ever considered it should have had a different title? Maybe like The Letters?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure they could have found something a little bit more on the nose, but I think the fact that she wrote the story in her notebook and gave it to him to read back to her when she realized that she was losing her memory. I think
where do we get that information?
At the end.
I didn't know she wrote that.
So at the end, there's like a scene where he's reading, like he's looking at the notebook, and there's a letter in there at the end from Allie, and it says, Noah, read this. It said the story of Noah and Allie by Allie Calhoun. Noah, read this to me when I start to lose, like and I'll always come back to you if you read this to me.
Did you know that, Ash?
I did not know that.
Wow.
Attention to
man.
detail is the first of me.
She's deep in these streets.
You gotta read
That's fire. That's even better.
No, I feel like I shouldn't even ask the question now. Because that locks it all in. My next question as far as overall discussion. This is my last one as far as overall. We see some transformation in the characters, and we're gonna have such a great conversation today. I know we're getting to it. But how well did Ryan Gosling his transformation from teenage heartthrob to grown man. How well do y'all think that he did? And I got more to add to that, but I want to see like how well did y'all think he did from, we see him early, the first, almost similar to Loving the Basketball in a sense, like first quarter versus fourth quarter. How do y'all think he did as far as the transformation and how he felt in the early part of the movie versus the latter part of the movie?
That was smooth. Take out that face on.
What you say? As
Start to
you
move.
breaking up. You breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Keep
Is it
going.
better? Better.
Still a little muffled. But if I think the more you talk, it kind of opens up or whatever.
I said the transition was pretty cool. Once he grew the facial hair out, I'm like, okay, he's full grown man. He went to the war. He still had that baby face. Like, I don't know. I mean, it was a decent transition. I don't really know how to really describe it because they didn't show too much of, it wasn't too much shown in regards to him. Yeah, so it kind of was like, it was all right though.
Okay, what say you, Mia?
I think, they slapped a beard on him. I think the only real difference that I could notice was he was a little bit more stoic and quiet that when he came back. It's like he was more introspective. The young Noah was kind of goofy, really spontaneous. Not saying that he wouldn't have been or he wasn't, because we didn't see like too much of him as an adult, but you could tell that after losing Allie that first time and then going off to war, he probably just kind of retreated into himself more. So you didn't really see as much of that youthful energy he had. It was a real subtle transformation, but I think it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'll talk a little bit more into it. So here's how I got it set up for my notes, and we can kind of collaborate in real time on it. So here's how my notes are set up. So I got Allie and Noah, the parents, the house Noah built, friendship, Lon Haymond, the senior citizen plot, and the senior citizen plot. So I got it kind of built around those 5 things. That's how I have it built. Now, if y'all have it built differently, by any means, feel free to share. We can work around whatever we all can kind of conclude on. But that's the way I got it built. Because I got stuff within it, but those are kind of the sub categories that I have as far as like we could have those discussions.
Okay.
I got
a couple little extra things, but a lot of that is in mine too.
Okay, so here's what I do. I'll put Noah and Allie last.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So first, let's have a conversation about, well, I say the senior citizen plot because that's them too. All right, so let's talk about the parents, right? So we see the parents and how they play a big part in their life. How heavy they play in choosing your partner, the influence that they have, and their mindset playing a part into the kids' mindset in their relationship. Also, kind of living vicariously through them. So a couple of things that I wanted to bring up, and I want to see what y'all thought is like. First off, let's talk Noah's dad. So Noah's dad, he had a bit of a vibe. I feel like he had a Southern boy charm, but he was friendly. With the Southern charm. But I personally felt like it was a little overstepping to me. But it could be a Southern thing, and it may not be like so out of the box or whatever. It felt a little overstepping, but I want to see what y'all thought. So what did y'all think about Noah's dad? Like, we know all of the plot between the poetry thing, helping Noah to help with his stuttering problem, how much his dad supported him, how much his dad spoke to that, Allie's really beautiful. And then we get the later years of that his dad had his sold his home because he knew what he was going through, and pretty much was looking out for his son to get ready to build the home, and he was going to live with him. So I'm obviously I got intimate details within that. I just want to kind of lay that out there. So I'll throw the ball in your court first, Ash. What did you think about Noah's dad? What are some things that you gathered?
He was I think he was open-minded, very non-judgmental. He had a warm welcome to him. He seemed very supportive of Noah, whatever he wanted to do. It seems like he instilled in him to be a hard worker and, go out and earn your keep. So I kind of got that vibe. I wanted to ask you, what do you mean you felt like he was overstepping?
I think it felt like he was overstepping, not in a disrespectful way, or like when I say disrespectful, I mean like intentionally disrespectful, but just on some like you overly comfortable with a person you hadn't met yet. That kind of more of that, like which sometimes parents do. Like that's what it is. Like it's not an indictment on his dad's character, but it's a little like you know.
You mean like him grabbing the painting and all that? Or?
Yeah, it's like you grabbing the painting. You're like, hey, you want some pancakes? Oh, she looked better than what you said. All right, bro, relax, dude. I
feel like he was a warm person. He was warm. He was welcoming. And she in his house. This is his house.
Two things could be true.
You come in here. You want something to eat? Yeah. You're my son's girlfriend. He's talked about you. I'm gonna give him a little hard time, try to, break the ice, let you know what type of person I am. I'm warm. I think he was just really sweet and open to like welcoming her into their lives and wanting her to get to know, a little bit more about Noah, like intimately.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it was super necessary for us. They do a great job at showing his dad because we'll eventually see Allie's dad, and we'll get a little bit more of that depiction, which I'll speak a little bit more because we're kind of talking about the parents. Man, how unfortunate was it to? Because again, all this is going to build towards when we get to the Allie and Noah story. But how unfortunate was it, like when Noah came back from the war? He didn't know that his dad was dying, but his dad was already like making, putting steps, in the forefront because for the sake of his son. And like, the first time around, I'm like, okay, because the way they play with the timeline, it moves briefly because that's the way they do it. But man, like the second time around, when I realized that, I was like, man, it really did hurt because his dad is such a I won't say eclectic, but he's such a individual in the sense that he's not generic. Like when we get have the conversation about Allie's parents, there's a bit of a genericness because of the people that they have around. There's a little bit of a generic vibe, but his dad is like a one of one, just like Noah is. And like the unfortunate part of like when he passes, like he knew he was out of here, but he wanted to look out for his son. Is like I wish we had more time with him. That's one of those things where it's not a thing that the movie got wrong, but it's like I wish I had more time. I wish he would have got to live to see them two together. He ain't got to even make it all the way to the senior citizen plot line of it all. But like I just wish he would have got to be around to like counsel Noah, because Noah had to really grow up. When we get to some later stuff at post-war, and we'll speak a little bit more when we get to the friendship element of it. But yeah, like I said, that was just Noah dad just being kind of trying to be. I feel like he'd been a little bit of a hip dad, but that part, like him passing, was unfortunate. Is there anything I want to add as far as the passing part of Noah? You don't mute, Mia. I don't know if you're talking to us or not, but anything I want to add to like the passing of it? Did that hit y'all like at the time when y'all watched it, or this time, or anything like that?
Mm, but it hit me in that way, the same way that it did to you. Um, well, I think the way that Noah was moving, his dad instilled a lot of things in him at a young age, so I knew that he would be okay. Of course, it's always unfortunate if a loved one passed, but I didn't really think that we needed more
Mm,
from him, just in my opinion. But I mean, it would have been nice if he did live, of course, but maybe him passing gave him that extra push to finish the house and,
mm,
like, everything that his dad taught him, like, you got to finish what you start, all that. So, but
mm,
yeah, I didn't have that same type of connection with his dad, though.
mm. What about you, man?
Um, I'm kind of right there with Ash. I think I loved his dad's character, but I think he kind of needed to go for Noah to develop the way that he needed to into that stoic, independent strength that he was towards, the end of the movie. And I don't necessarily know what else he could have done that would have changed the outcome, of Noah and Allie. Like, he could have counseled Noah, yeah, and it would have been nice for him to be around, but I just don't know where he would have fit into the plot after the fact, because Noah is now grown. He's building his own house. He's no longer in his dad's house, but when would he have like gone to see his dad and get that like, it just seems like it kind of, like Ash said, it was a push for Noah to stand on his own too, in that way.
You know, I feel like if they kept his dad around a little bit more, like post war, the way they could have utilized it, whereas he could have been in the hospital, like he's pretty much on his way out, and Noah could have like this could have been after Noah had seen Allie with Lon and been like, okay, I'm gonna let it go, whatever, and his dad could have been like, son, you don't want to live with regrets. Trust me, there's many regrets I got, and I don't want you to go through the same thing. If you really want that woman, and if she's not married, kind of just some along those lines. Like he could, you don't need it. This movie is as excellent as it is. I'm not saying it needs that, but I think that would have been like just one more little touch to it. Or he could have been alive, and Allie. It could have been after Allie started to come visit. It's like, hey, I want to go. You want to go see me visit my dad? And she's like, hey, can I ride with you? And they could have both went to see him at that point. It's like, oh, you still just as beautiful as you was when you was younger. That kind of thing. So again, the movie don't need it. This is not a gripe, but I would have liked to see him more, because we got we're gonna get into Allie's parents now, but like we got more of them. When I'm like, I wish I would have got a little more of his dad, but it does build the character in which he becomes. So but let's get into Allie's parents, right?
Hmm.
So there's it's very complicated. Allie's mom and her dad. The dad, obviously loves her, and as well as the mom. The mom is kind of a momager. Like she wants to manage her daughter's life, and I feel like there's this whatever the antithesis to vicarious, that's her mom. Like she don't want to live vicariously through Allie. She wants the opposite. Because I didn't do some things, I don't want you to. And then the dad is kind of like the dad that kind of leave you in a weird space where you don't really know what he feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna leave that there. I want to see what y'all thoughts are. Ash, what are your thoughts on her father and her mother? And of course, you can get all the way into everything from the mother's standpoint as well, because I know we get a little bit more with her. But yeah.
He left us in a weird space. Like, it was clear that Allie was closer to her dad. Like, it seems like she would always go to him, even though we didn't get a lot from him as to why. But her mom was so terrible, so that probably process of elimination.
Yeah.
But it's not like we got that emotional pull from the dad. Like, oh well, he understands because he's also snobby and like obviously they're well off. Their lifestyle is completely different, meaning Noah and Allie and their upbringing. So, the mother, man, I got so much about her, but I don't know. Trying to see
Go,
how we
yeah.
navigating this
Go for it. Go for it.
because I'm talking like towards the end. Like I got
All of it.
stuff
No,
for
that's
her.
that's.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, well, if y'all want to just talk to dad, we'll talk to dad, and then we'll bounce back around, and then we'll come back to the mom if you want to do that.
I mean, that's up to y'all. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just I don't understand that moment where she took Allie to see her, I guess, love of her life that
Yeah.
she didn't end up with. Like, it's just like you were an overbearing mother to me, hiding letters, and then you bring me to this location of this guy that you were also into that was, I guess you could say, poor status, just to tell me like it didn't I didn't like that. Like it was a letdown to me. Like, okay, you're telling me basically that you're married to my dad, you love my dad, but this guy over here is like your true love. And you knew that and you tried to keep me from my true love, even though you're married to someone who's well off, but you still come over here from time to time to come see him. So I didn't that connection. Like, I hope you make the right decision, bro.
What are
Save
you
it.
like? What are you saying?
What are you saying? I don't get it.
All
She's bonkers.
right. Well, we're gonna spend a little more time on her, but I want to see what me and G think because her mom definitely deserves more of a conversation because there's a lot of intimate stuff. Mia G, what do you make of Allie's father as well as her mother?
I have thoughts. Um, so for her father, I think he was a little bit more, you could tell she's kind of a daddy's girl, and he's more aloof. The mom runs Allie's day to day, and he pays for everything, and he's just, that's my little girl. Oh, it's nothing. He's not taking it seriously until it's serious, you know. Um, the mom, Lord have mercy. Um, I think the way that I interpret the mom is more so I made these decisions to give myself and my future children a certain life. Now I have this one daughter, and I've sacrificed my happiness to make sure that this daughter has this life. And I'm not gonna have let myself sacrifice all of this for her to just go and completely disregard all of this that I've built for her and this life that I've envisioned her having for all this time. Because if that was the case, I could have just been with the man that I wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I interpret her, like the decision she makes for Allie. Like, I sacrificed all this because I want you to have this life, and damn it, you're gonna have it because of all the
Yeah.
sacrifice made. And I think that scene at the end was kind of her surrendering to the fact that I made these sacrifices because I felt like that was best. And even with all of that, I couldn't keep my daughter from finding this man. So let me just at least show her that while I made different choices, I do understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, the decision is yours now because I tried.
I wish you would have made that clearer sooner. It's just like, yeah, I'm engaged to Lon and all that, and it's just like, no, I guess I can go in another
All
section.
right. No, ain't no problem. I mean, it's like her mom is just an interesting character because she's trying to detour everything because again, like whatever I look up some like antonyms for, you know, vicariously. Nothing felt like the right vocabulary for it, but the mom pretty much like is the opposite of that. and there's a sense of jealousy. You know, the way she talks about Noah, she called him trash. And this
Mm-hmm.
is before this is 2004, y'all. For y'all that are listening now, like trash was not a regulated term that is we use it now with no problem. Like back then, calling somebody trash was deep. Like you really meant that. People say trash now when they really mean, oh, it's bad. It's not good. It's not great. It's okay. People use trash for a lot of terms. Back then, when she said trash, she calling him bottom of the barrel. You leftovers, you bottom shelf, you know what I mean? So her calling him, you know, trash, and then just like when she pulled up on Allie when she came back to, you know, clear her mind on some things in her engagement, and like finding out that like she kept the letters, and she was like, okay, well, I kept them back, but you're being dramatic. Like, cause her mom was like, oh, you knew why you was coming out here. Okay, so I'm a whore, kind of like thing. Is like, but the mom just downplayed the whole thing. I was like on some like you know what you was out here for. Don't put that on me. But like the mom was wild, because even then there's a subtle thing when the mom when Allie is with Lon, and
And I
they're
have to, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I did not put James Marsden as Lon Hammond in the cast that I read earlier, but I have to make sure that we acknowledge
Oh,
that James
he's been around.
Marsden, Lon Hammond.
Yeah. But when they were at the place with her and Lon Hammond, and they were talking, and he was talking about the proposal, and we'll get more into Lon Hammond in another part of this, but you know, you see the mom dancing and stuff, but the mom is getting the mom is getting busy on some young vibes. Like she getting busy on some real cougar vibes. Like you got the leg flying up, like, hey, mom, chill, bro. Like she's getting to it. I was, I was like, hey, yo, chill out, moms. Like you getting busy. Like, anyway, that's my own moism. Don't mind me. But you know, so the mom's just a very interesting character. Her being given a big reveal that they're going back to New York. This is a summer fling in front of Noah at the dinner. You know, just all of the things that she's doing, because, and this is the thing we got to be careful of as parents, and we can keep talking whatever else I got to add to the parents. We got to be very careful when our children make different decisions than we would. You know, because sometimes the thing is, you at this stage where our kids are so, as young as they are, all three of us, you got to leave room for the possibility that they may exceed where you wanted to take it. They may be bolder, they may be more confident, they may be more strategic, and you can't be jelly about it. You got to look at like it should be that way. You should be smarter. You should make the right decision. Like she was doing that, but we don't really know what that entailed as far as her saying, hopefully you make the right decision. We got to be okay with that as parents. But you know, the reality is, more than our kids being okay with it, we got to be okay with the decision we made.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was with because Allie says that earlier, she's like, I see the way you look at dad. And her being a 17-year-old, that's crazy to be like, what do you know about the world? And the fact that she could notice that, it's amazing. Anything else I want to add into as far as the parents go? Because there's so much we can go into parents, but I just want to see. I don't want to leave no stone unturned as far as the parents. Anything I want to add as far as, you know, anything with any of the parents?
No, I'm good on the parents, unless they tie into another topic. But yeah, just them, I'm good.
Okay, Ash, what about you?
Last tidbit on the mother. She
Would
just
you
seemed like she had zero interest in Ashley's desires and wants. It was just like zero interest.
mhm.
And she just came off real cold hearted. Like, and it was almost like she couldn't wait to break the news. Wino was there at the dinner, like, oh, she's going to school at, I forget what she said, but she
Somewhere
couldn't
out in New
wait.
York? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Kind of just, and the fact you had a letter, I mean, you had a bone on the letters was insane.
Mm-hmm.
But
You know,
that's it.
one more thing I add to what you said. With Allie's mother, the thing too is like, that's a place you never want to get as a parent, where like you're living in such a regretful life, you're looking at your child as a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a crazy space to be at. Because you in your mind, you're trying to reap the benefits of where your child takes it, while navigating them or coaching them to the direction you want them to go, to kind of feel like you got a second chance. It gets deep, Jake. You know what I mean? Like, this is definitely for real. Like, it's really deep. And I as much as we're griping on it, I understand how you get there. And I don't ever want to get there as a parent, but I understand how you get there. So, okay. All right. Well, so let's talk a little bit about friendship. It's not a ton here, but this probably could have been first, but since we're here, can we talk about Finn and Noah's friendship? What did y'all think about it? We didn't get a ton with it, but we got some things and some interesting things in the small moments that we did get with Finn. And shout out to the actor that plays Finn. I'm a big fan of him from Entourage. He plays E on Entourage, for those that are Entourage fans. So I really enjoyed him. But what did y'all gather from the friendship element of this film with Finn and Noah?
So much. And just that they grew up together, did a lot of things together, obviously enlisted in the war. They were working together. So I know it was a deep relationship, like a deep friendship there. Seemed like he would go to Finn for advice and stuff like that. I don't know. Was Finn older? Will we say that?
I don't
I
think
think
so.
they were the same age.
Yeah, I think about
Okay.
some age,
It just seemed like just a deep friendship that has some tenure on it. Of course, Finn's demise was sad. I mean, I think in that moment I would have liked a little more emotion from Noah. Like, he kind of looked at him, and then that was it. Like, it didn't, you know,
yeah.
the emotion could have been a little heavier for me in that moment.
Yeah.
But maybe he just didn't know how to process it, until you're in that moment. It's like you see somebody become lifeless. It's like, I don't know.
Now let's come back to that, because I want to talk a little bit more about that. What about you, Mia? What you gather from the Finn and Noah relationship?
From what we did see, I feel like Finn might have been the only person besides maybe his father who Noah actually showed his true emotions to. Because the scene where Allie goes to Finn and says, tell Noah I love him and I'm sorry, tell him. And you see, he's like, I've been with him for days and I've never seen him so torn up. And we don't see that. We don't see Noah expressing it that way. We don't see him crying. We don't see the fallout of his breakup with Allie. But according to Finn, he sees that. And a part of me feels like the reason why Noah reacted the way he did when Finn passed away is because he's like, okay, you were the person that I could be vulnerable with, and now you're gone. So I'm gonna hold it the way I hold it in every other situation. I also saw with Finn the glimpse of how we can be really protective of our friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even when it ain't really our business to be that protective. It kind of annoyed me in a way when Allie's like, tell Noah I said I love him. And he's like, just let it go, it's over. Well, that's not up to you, Finn. Tell my man I said I love him.
Well, we got to remember when the last time they seen each other, what happened?
They had a little breakup, but it wasn't even really.
We're not gonna pretend like she ain't put hands on him. Like, hold on. They gonna feel like she didn't put the paws on him because she was getting busy. Like,
that's one of the points I had in my notes that you didn't have in yours, but I guess we could get.
We ain't got to Noah, and when we get to that, that's a full elaborate thing. But no, but other, I'm with you though. I'm just challenging you, but I'm with you on that though. Like, just tell
Tell
her.
my man I said
Right,
I
right, right.
love him.
No, in another section, but unless you want me to say it now
As far as
about
what?
Finn.
You talking about Finn? Oh, well, if it's about Finn, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm with Nika. Like that pissed me off. Like, dude, just give him the message. Like I said, it's not for you to. It's over. It's the end of the summer. Like, just get out of here, pretty much. Like, no, you don't get to decide that, bro. She's like, we had a fight. Like, I don't like how he was trying to,
But
you
but
know.
but you got to remember, y'all. Backdrop context. This is it is a summer fling.
Okay, but that's not for
Of
you to
course.
be.
But it's his friend. I known him longer than you. You just you
Stop.
you just got here. Like, I've been know him since we were in elementary. Like, as much you say it's not for you, this is my friend. But he still told him. He still told him.
He did, but I didn't need all that lip with it. Like, just
Nah, this my no, but
get out of here.
this is guy though. Like, if this is your home girl and you've been with her and you like you very protective of your home girl, like you've been through some stuff and y'all been knowing each other since y'all was yay high. It's like you gonna be a
Yeah,
little
but if they
hesitant.
did them wrong, like she didn't do him wrong. If it was something like disrespectful, then yeah, as a friend, I might be like, hey man,
She gave him the Solange treatment, bro. What are we talking about?
Listen here, okay? And Jay-Z probably deserved that little two-piece he
Nah,
got.
I ain't saying he did. I ain't saying he didn't, but gave him the Solange elevated treatment, bro. Like, what?
push the man like 2 times. Relax.
Nah, she was
Listen,
getting no. Go back and watch it, bro. She was getting busy on him. Like,
okay, and
anyway,
he
anyway.
still was writing letters. He liked them paps he was getting.
I mean, he liked her when he's really into something. I'm really into, like he said, nah, but for me with Finn, man, funny thing when they went out for the first time and how they did, play matchmaker, and like when they decided they were gonna go for the walk, and we obviously we'll get to that when we get to the Noah and Allie part of it. But like he's like, do you guys love each other? Like, that's so nostalgic in the sense, like, bro, you making it awkward for me. You know what I mean? Like, why you doing, like, that's what friends do. Make it awkward for you, and you laugh about it, but in the moment, you're like, bro, why you doing this? Like, you messing up you blowing my whole play. And then, like, when he passes in the war, like, it really hurts, man. Cause I'm with Ash, like, they should have gave us a little bit more elaborate. I feel like they threw that there, but they just left it in, like, kind of like Chris Tucker and Dead Presidents. It's like y'all kind of just glossed over it. Like, bro, this is a big deal. Y'all just glossed over it. We found him this way. Y'all leave it there. Like with Finn, it's like him dying in the war. It's like, bro, that is serious, bro. They were once doing construction together, double dating, hanging, kicking. They probably went to grade school together. They were on a Ferris wheel. And then all of a sudden, it's like he dies. This is his best friend. Like, it's not like just another friend out of a list. This is his best friend. He's a Southern boy. He don't need a lot in life. And it's like they should have just gave us a little bit more. But like that friendship with Finn, when he died, it really hurt because shortly after we'll get the father, Noah's father dying. It was like, God, Lee. I felt it. I felt it. All right. So let's get into Lon Hammond. So Lon Hammond is the fiance of Allie, after post Noah. She gets grown. She goes out there. She goes to school. She does her thing. She's helping the military or the army or whatever for those that are injured. Lon was one of those ones that was on the battlefield. He was jacked up, but he decides to ask her out on a date, and she was like, you need to worry about recovering, but we'll double back on that later at some other, and then he comes strong and he ends up asking her out, and then the rest seems to be bliss for the most part, of course, until we get the switch out. What are y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts on Lon Hammond, man?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Should she have stayed with Lon?
No.
Is there bias?
No,
Mm-mm.
not biased. Lon was an amazing guy. Nothing was wrong with Lon whatsoever. But shout out to Ray P in the Culture Garden. That wasn't her nigga like that.
Yeah.
He could be perfect. But if the love ain't that love, then it just isn't. Like Lon was close to perfect. You know, he was nice, he was understanding, he had the money, he was handsome, very handsome. And
Very, huh?
you know, he had all of the qualities, but and you could see that she struggled with it. She really struggled with hurting him because there was nothing about him. It's not like he was a bad guy, like,
No.
you know, old boy from Titanic who was Rose's fiance. Like he was a good guy. And she was like, dang, I'd have made this promise to this man. And yeah, he was a good guy. And even with the breakup, I feel like he handled it so well. It would have been hard for anybody to walk away from a guy like Lon. However, Noah was the one, and you can't just turn your nose up at that.
Yeah. Let's say what do you feel about I love everything you said. That was really good. I want to have a lot more of the things to talk about when it comes to Lon. What about you, Ash? When we talking Lon Hammond.
You agree with me. I mean, she said everything right. Perfect, like dang near perfect. Nothing's wrong with him. He got the bag, very attractive, stable. The parents loved him. He was the guy. If you know, if they were to make up a dude for her, he is the guy. But the love she had for Noah was just too strong. I mean, we talking years later, what, like 7 years?
Yeah.
And he still has that pull on her. I mean, this man wrote a letter for 365 days.
Bruh.
Like, who does that? So yeah, Lon was a great guy. And like you said, on paper, he's the one, but the heart wants what the heart wants. So
see, people don't understand.
But he's fine though.
All right, so who y'all going with, Lon or Noah?
Lon all day for me.
You said Lon all day?
All day.
What
I'm
about
not
you?
attracted to Ryan Gosling. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, okay,
He's never done it for me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with Ash on that part. Like, I've never been like the, oh, Ryan Gosling is so fine train that everybody like. He cute, but
yeah.
But aside from that, like in the circumstances, me being who I am, I'm probably gonna go with Noah. If I'm Allie, I'm going.
Of course.
But yeah.
But for me, Mia personally, it would have been Lon. But in Allie's shoes, Noah. But if Lon was looking for a rebound girl, somebody to slide that ring to, I would have been.
I mean, well, you know, here's the thing too. Like, this is something I've learned and being in a relationship for this long. The imperfections have a sense of affirmation versus the perfection. So sometimes, like, you shouldn't necessarily look like, okay, you so perfect, let me find something wrong with you. I'm not saying go about it in that way, but I'm saying when there's this individual that you're with or you're rocking with, or y'all have something, and you know when y'all have the highs are there. When the lows are there, they're there, but you know how to work through it. The imperfections are the things that create this longevity, which obviously when we get to the Allie and Noah scene, obviously the concluding scene, I feel like then it all comes together. But like that, the imperfection is kind of, people don't think about that when it comes to dating in this era, but like, do you need a bit of that imperfection sauce to know, like, okay, you're a work in progress just like me, and we can work together. But because for me, it's always like, in my process, was like, well, what are the traits that I really enjoy? And those traits that I enjoy, can I see these things being beneficial long term? And on long term, I gotta be like 20 years. It just be long term, like I can do this for a while. You know what I mean? And so Lon is just an interesting character. But we see Noah had seen them two together. There's something that she brings up. She says she notices that she doesn't paint anymore. And, you know, obviously he don't even know this side of her. You know, it's just like not a thing to him. So he's like, okay, babe, you know, go ahead, paint, babe. Do you? Like he don't even know because she never presented it that way. Because in some regard, it's like she left herself not fully exposed. Because when you're engaged or you're going to get married, you got to be fully exposed in order to be able to make that connection between two, no longer being two, but being one. So, but this is the question I want to ask as far as the Lon Hammond. Do y'all think Lon already knew she was up to something? When he said, I've been calling there's only one hotel in that city. I've been calling all day. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, everything all right? Is there something you want to tell me? He kind of left it there, and she wasn't honest. So do y'all think Lon had some kind of idea or clue at all? Do you think the mom revealed something to him, or he had intuition? What do y'all think?
Intuition. He already said, should I be one? Like him just asking that alone, it's kind of like you want to go to Seabrook out of nowhere. You know, it's just kind of like, what do you got to do out there? You know, that would have been my question. But yeah, I think he had an idea of, I don't think he knew the extent of it. But I do want to touch on something you just said really quick, bro. Not to be too vulnerable or personal, but like you said, being able to show your full self to your partner, is so important. Obviously, I know I was previously married, and there were sides to me that I just did not unveil, and I don't know. It was like a hard stop for me that I couldn't bring out. And with Tyler currently, like he didn't seem all sides to me, and it's a beautiful feeling to know that you can just be your complete self. So that is so important. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, the safe haven is absolutely necessary, and whoever and whatever your situation is, like the home has to be more than the four walls and the roof. You know what I mean? And you know, for whatever reason, Lon wasn't all. He wasn't. He is what made sense on paper. You know, but here I'll give a small example. When we were moving, right before we moved to Florida, there was a home we moved into. We moved to a duplex. Now, based on our credit and all the information that we had, we got dealt a bad hand, and it backfired on us really bad that we didn't look like good tenants based on it. And the home that we wanted to move into, the duplex, it was rented by homeowners. And the homeowners, they called me specifically, and they were like, well, based on the paperwork and based on us running a check, they tell us that you guys wouldn't be good tenants. But when we met you all, we had a different feeling. And so with that being said, we're not going to worry about what the paper says. We're going to go by what we felt and what resonated to us. And so we're going to allow you guys to move in. And then we end up moving in. And so sometimes that's what it is. Lon Hammond is what fits on the paperwork. But when we get to Noah, he's what makes sense more. And again, when we get into that storyline, that last scene where he talks about it, it all lines up. And that's why I said those are good signs. And people don't teach that enough in this era, but like we need to see more of that. Like we always talk about the uplift. No, we need to see some of the, like, not toxic, but indifferent. We need to see the indifferent moments when you're building towards, is this my guy? Is this my girl? What we doing? We need to see more of that indifferentness. Is there anything else y'all want to speak to as far as the Lon Hammond storyline?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. I got the house Noah built, right? Because the house he built is kind of a storyline in a sense. My first question I want to ask y'all is what do y'all make of the house Noah built and what does it represent through the movie?
He did exactly what Ellie was wanting. It showed how serious he was. Like, and again, he thought if he did it, that would bring her back to him, which ultimately it did. So that was a cute moment there. Basically, kind of like we're not finished. You know, the house wasn't finished, and we're not finished. So kind of just tying it all together to be together. That's what I got from it. So
Mm.
I like that, Ash. I
thank you,
would
girl.
say I agree. It's kind of symbolic of their relationship. You know, great foundation, but it's not ready. And he built it and he built it and he worked on it. And eventually he had this beautiful home that was exactly what she wanted it to be, exactly what how she envisioned it, how he envisioned it. And I think the journey of it is symbolic of their relationship.
Mm.
Even so far as him leaving it to be with her when she left mentally, he left the house and he went to be with her where she was.
Yeah. All the things y'all said, so to speak, it's where it started and ended, you know. And he just something in him, he just wasn't willing to sell it. Um, and another interesting thing, a little bit of a this could be intentional, it could be, or maybe not. But his name being Noah and building a home, maybe it could possibly be a bit biblical. With the thing where Noah, built the ark, which protected his family and the animals from the flood. And in some sense, Noah built this home, which was could say that it protected his family. Obviously, his wife, which we'll get into the senior citizen plot, as well as his kids, their kids. So it could be something there subliminally. But yeah, everything that Mia said, like this house meant so much, and he kept his promise from when they were a youth to have a patio all the way around, have a room for her to paint, all those things, So the house is definitely a character, and then how his dad put money into it too. So the house is definitely a character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So finally, we getting into Allie and Noah. All right. So we can jump around however y'all want to do, because eventually we'll land this plane as far as the senior citizen plot of Allie and Noah. So Ash, what are some things that you want to get into as far as Allie and Noah's relationship?
Eating. The boldness of Noah. Just see a girl that he likes and just walk up to her. Not knowing if she's dealing with anybody. Dance with me, just hey, dance with me. Like he don't care who's around. So that alone just kind of showing he's like a little bit of a rebel, has a little edge to him. Kind of rude as well.
Yeah, there's that
uh,
part.
rude as hell, but kind of moving at his own beat, just doing his own thing, really. He sees something, goes after it, lock it in. And then you have Allie. Obviously, she came in town for the summer. Seems like she's having a blast. Like every scene they kept showing her, she got the biggest smile on her face. Like she is having the time of her life. So it just makes you wonder, like, dang, like she has all this stuff back home, but is she having fun at all? You know,
Yeah,
like she
yeah.
already talked about being very structured, A, B, C, D, and she has a plan laid out for what she's gonna be, you know. So, but she didn't seem like she probably was having fun because she was just having such a good time. And obviously, just with the attire, you know, she had this little dainty dress, and Noah just kind of he got on like the default mafia get up. You know, when you're a runner, you ain't a made man yet. You know, you got the
Hey, you don't know nothing about that. Why you even put yourself
hey,
out there? Hey, relax,
hey,
bro.
he the starter kid. You know what I mean? He the beginning of the game. But so you know, he just got on some threads, some old regular threads with Finn, and yeah. So just them meeting and how different they are, and then even with him asking her on the date, I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all think Noah was getting play from girls? Like just around in his area. Do you think he was successful?
To be honest, I don't think Noah really cared like that. Noah is definitely he gives off. I gotta really be into you to get intimate. Like he don't give off like I'm horny. I need something for the night. He gives off. I gotta have. It's got to be some significance to me. So nah, that's why I feel like his reaction when we get later after the carnival, like when I'm into something, I'm really nah. He wasn't getting it off. Mm-mm.
I'm
And I
gonna
had
say,
go ahead.
oh my bad.
Go ahead, Mia.
To piggyback, I agree completely with what Mo said. He gives off like he could, but he don't really
Yep.
try. Like he could if he wanted to.
Hey, absolutely.
Big lover boy vibes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's like until something catches his eye or his piques his interest in that way, he's not gonna put any effort to it. He might go on a date, but it's
Yeah.
never giving. He's putting an effort to get women. He's just kind of living his life and doing his day by day, but he probably could. He just wasn't really like
And
on
we
it.
knew people in school like that. Like you knew somebody in school, a homegirl, or a girl that's in your class. Like girl, you cute. You could probably, if you really wanted to, and she just like, oh, I just, or dude's like, bro, you got the gear. Like, dog, you can really, what I mean, you can really get busy. Like, I got some experience in colleges, having to coach some of my guys. But it was like that though. It was like you could really, if you so choose, you could really be active. But there's just sometimes that's just not your vibe, just like, Noah. So yeah.
My only ask is because when she was turning down the date, even after he's hanging at the, up there on the thing, he was like, no, like it was almost like he was shocked that she was standing on that no. And it's like, bro, if she just stand on it, what you gonna do? You really want to go out with me? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, but his relentlessness, So
It
yeah,
matters. It matters.
mattered more.
It mattered, Mom. Give me some credit. Give me some damn credit, Dad. Like, yeah, that boldness is something to acknowledge. Because he ain't got nothing to lose. He's a country boy. He works for everything he got. He don't make a lot by the hour. But the thing about Noah is he wasn't this non-confident person. Normally you see people that are in those situations, they're not confident. So they're very hesitant, they're very to themselves, and you don't tend to see that. But Noah was confident enough to say, hey, look, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm pursuing the it girl. Even if it takes the extreme of I'm about to be hanging off the Ferris wheel with one arm. So I like the fact. I wonder where he got that from, but I like the fact that he has that level of confidence. But do y'all think that there was some foreshadowing in the carnival, like how bold Noah was, and in some sense fearless and yet humorous, and Allie shifting modes from saying she would go on a date with him to, you know, pantsing him, participating low key in a serious moment. I feel like it was foreshadowing, like he brings her out of her element. Do I feel like that was like kind of a little bit of a foreshadowing thing?
I would say that, yeah. Maybe she didn't even realize she had that side, or she hadn't been able to really show it, and he
Mm.
brought it out, and it's like, oh wait, I like who I am when I'm with this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What it's about.
So then the street scene. I know y'all got. I mean, we got that as far as like that conversation between Allie and Noah. What did y'all make of the street scene?
Um, it was insane for one, but I think the thing that they were trying to portray is just like the spontaneity, or more so just letting go a little bit. Because she was like, "You're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? What if a car comes?" And he's like, "Just come on." And then when the car does come, she's
Yeah.
laughing hysterically because it's like, okay, I did this thing. We're okay. And now I feel this safety and like this ability to let go in a way that I hadn't.
It's Rachel because she laughing in this movie. Like you really that it was hilarious. Like she really made you feel like this is the best moment I didn't had. Like it was so good. Shout out to Rachel, man. Like the
Mhm.
fact that y'all didn't even like each other is
I mean,
crazy.
it is. I mean, it really is, and it's like
So good.
she is. I've said this so many times. I'm like I just never have understood. Like I've never heard her spoke about when they talk about like these gorgeous people in Hollywood. I'm like, how has she never come up? It blows
Listen,
my mind every time when I see her. I'm like, oh, she is like way up there, and it
Rachel
just
McAdams was that girl for
that
a good
yeah,
minute.
that's what I'm
Had
saying.
run, and the girls, Rachel McAdams was in charge of the girls
I
for
mean,
a little minute.
because I'm like, how does she not never get mentioned? Like I said, she kind of check all the boxes, but yeah, but you know, like what you said, like the funny thing, and her she just got off of talking about how structured her whole life is, and this is so spontaneous that it makes you laugh. It's like, bro, this is wild right now. It's so unplanned, unprepared, so off kilter that it's making me I'm laughing about because I could really lose my life for real, and that's exactly what I needed, you know. And I thought it was just beautiful.
It
Me
was.
too.
But there's a thing Noah says. It's like, man, see, that's the thing about you. You need to have faith. You know, he kind of telling like, yo, you got to get beside like your day to day structure. You got to be able to believe in something more than what's already set out for you. Which obviously, I think this is a strong correlation to his line later in the movie. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like really stepping out on faith and your belief and what do you think? What are you into? Um, but yeah, you know, we get a lot of stuff as far as that she loves to paint. We get that might be a summer fling. The dad seems like he's not necessarily against it, but the mom is fully against it, obviously for her own regrets. You know, and they go about their separate ways. She goes back to New York. He goes to the military. He comes back. She ended up meeting, you know, Lon Hammond, and she's with him, and she's happy about it, and it's all good. And she's, you know, and in the meantime, while that's all happening, him and his dad are building the home. Till his dad passes, then he finishes building the home. She sees him in the newspaper and decides that she need to clear her thoughts. Now, I have been waiting for y'all as women to please give me some insight because this is crazy work because I'm gonna speak about Lon Hammond in a moment as far as like, his chill factor. So y'all, please give me some insight on where she is. How do you get there, and what do y'all think her intention and her expectation was doing this? Was she on some dirt or no?
They got away. I think she was on dirt. I don't think she intentionally wanted to hurt Lon, but it's just like her heart just, she saw that picture of Noah and she jumped right in the tub in the wedding dress, okay? Like, because again, she didn't want it to end. Remember, like, she went to Finn to, tell him I love him. Obviously, they had to go their separate ways, but it never was a thing like we don't want to be together. We just couldn't be together at that time. So, I mean, that's her true love. That's all I can say. Like, that's her person.
Didn't she pass out when she saw his picture?
She did.
Listen. Come on now. Come on. Like, even when you saw them together before, you see that it might have a little hint of toxic, because she do be putting her hands on him. But you see that there's a lot of passion there. There's a lot of passion and emotion attached. And that type of love does not go away. That doesn't go away. You might be able to put it to the back of your mind where you only think about it every now and then. Something will remind you. And out of sight, out of mind. When she saw that picture, she said, hold on. Before I go do this thing, I gotta go see something real quick.
I need to get away.
Yeah, I gotta go see something. And it's one of those things. If I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. So I have to go see this man before I take this step and change the course of my life forever. I have to go make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I have to go see my man one last time. see what's up. Oh, you're not married?
Yeah, I had to see what that mouth does. Which is crazy. This is what I've been missing out on. Like, listen, dog.
Years later. Whoosh.
They asked for the boss, so they sent me, dog. Like, crazy. I'm being crazy, but like, I her reasons I totally get. It's just one of those things that she gets the liberty that let a man do this, right? Let a man say, hey man, I just need to clear my mind. I just got to go back to the old town. Let a man try to get this off. Huh?
They get it. They do.
No, they don't. They don't. They just don't give a damn. Like, there ain't no getting it off. Like, you're not gonna get support. Like, okay, babe, well, do what you gotta do. Get your mind clear. No, you're not gonna get that off. But him, Lon Hammond, it's like, okay, all right, well, do what you gotta do. I trust you. All that. I stopped my whole meeting because you needed to do that, and you told me that you didn't paint no more. So do what you need to do. Let a man say, hey, I'm just trying to get some things together. I just gotta let a man try to be like, there's some things I gotta really clear up in my mind to just make sure that I'm clear on what I'm about to do next. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I just need to clear some stuff up. Like, bro, you're not gonna get out the house.
Them bachelor party trips out of town is that getting your mind clear.
I mean, but you got to fight teeth and nail to get to them joints.
And like, they still go.
Yeah, they gonna still go, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be on bad terms. Because it's gonna like, okay, all right, well, fine. We'll go ahead and hang with your friends then. All right, fine. Since you want to go do that, since you want to be on that, it's like he gonna leave on bad terms. And he's gonna have to thug it out. But like, you're not gonna get the Lon Hammond reaction. That's what I'm getting at. You're not gonna get the support like, okay, babe, hey, I trust you. Work it out, and we're getting married. We got a date set. Like, bruh, dog. Like, what are we
Because
talking about?
what goes on in Miami and the DR.
Y'all always know what's going on. Oh man, that's funny. That is so funny. But so Allie comes back and she notices some differences about him. I don't know if y'all spoke to that, but like she notices some differences about him, and obviously, he was just much more patient, and the simplicity, of their relationship. It's the I knew I was gonna pick this movie when we were doing Jason's Lyric, and there was a scene where they were in like this lake in Jason's Lyric, and he was washing the feet, and the scenery looked great as well as when they were love making. This movie, to me, like took it. Obviously, that was '94. This is 2004, and it elevated like that type of cinematography. You see all those birds in the water. It's such a beautiful scene. I'm like, God, visually on my eyes, it's bringing me comfort and spa vibes. You know what I mean? And so seeing that, and she's like, you're different, but you're still the same. And it's like, that's such a compliment because the difference is like you see the maturation, but I'm still the same as far as at the core of who I am is a loving person that is vulnerable. And he had been through a lot. Like, I love how they wrote him in the progression of he had lost his dad and his best friend. I love how they wrote that progression for him. Straight up. I wish they would have wrote a little bit more in her progression. That's one of the things. Now it's not like the thing the movie didn't get right, but it's just I wish they would have wrote more in her progression. I don't feel like we got it as much. We got more reactionary progression. Like, oh, mom, you didn't tell me about the letters, and you get the reaction, but we don't really see her like go through. Okay, I'm gonna make decisions. I gotta let Noah go. I'm gonna go ahead do this job. I guess the timeline thing is kind of an issue in this movie, but we'll get to that. Is there anything else y'all want to speak to as far as Noah and Allie's relationship? I mean, obviously from the youth up until the adult.
The only thing I'll say is going back to the like when they really get back together, like right before she goes to talk to Lon. Mm-hmm. You can see that speech that Noah gave was just I wouldn't have went nowhere. Well, okay, I won't say that because she owed Lon that. She owed him at least to come and give him, let him know what was going on. But there was really he was all about Allie. There was nothing else. Mm-hmm. There was nothing else for him. And I think in the end, there was nothing else for her, really. She had duty, her sense of duty, but when it came to Allie at the core of who she was, it was just Noah, and it was always going to be Noah. Mm-hmm. Like I said, that kind of love doesn't go away. Yeah. And I think then going into them being, the elderly couple, you see that there's something really magical, spiritual, cosmic about their connection. And it's just like a one in a lifetime love story.
Well, before we get into that, Ash, you got anything else with the younger Allie and Noah?
I think we pretty much covered it, and Mia spoke so beautifully. On that last part.
That last part, absolutely, was he was in his bag. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, well, that because I know we're getting into that.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
and
that was what was beautiful about it. It was
that
like
Mhm.
real,
that's
like
why I was like, oh, this movie is not what I thought. That was one of the moments where I realized quickly, oh, this is not what I thought it was. Before I ever seen it, I was like, oh, this is nothing like, because that was like so real. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, and the brother put it down. He got her outside on the porch painting naked, bro, with the cover on. Like, he in his bag, like, you messing with the country boy. You know what I mean? Like, this man that went off to war and came back. Listen
Mhm.
to me. I
Mhm.
got I got a special set of skills. No, no, but shout out to Noah, man. Yeah. All right, so then let's get into the senior citizen plot. The movie starts with them and ends with them. They, obviously in 2004, this was probably just such a crazy twist to get this type of, like, this. You think you're in a senior citizen home, and if you're not watching close enough, you'll never pick up that this is the home Noah built. You know, you won't even pick that up. And the elaborate plan of having all these different people here to give off the illusion that they're in a senior citizen home. So that's how it starts. And this man comes in to read the story, which is the story that, like, Mia had spoke to, that Allie had wrote about them. He comes in and reads because she has dementia. So his whole solo purpose is to bring her out of it. The doctor says that it's not physically possible to do it, but he has a different belief, ties back to the street scene. See, sometimes you got to have faith, which is what he talked about earlier in that part. Obviously, I'm just gonna lay it all out here and we can react. So they're going through it, and Allie, the older Allie, she's remembering. She's not really remembering, but she's enjoying it. Like, oh, I like this story. I like these type of stories. And she's reacting and speaking her moments to it. And then eventually, he has the kids come by, and she don't recognize that those kids are her kids. I'll speak to that later as far as things the film didn't get right. I'll speak to that, but you know, there's a moment in there where they say, "Dad, why don't you just come home and bring Mom home? We'll get a rotation going." And this is why I knew. I said, "This is why I knew," and I'm about to drop it in your court, Ash. This is why I knew. I said, "This is gonna be my pick." I said, "Dad, won't you come home? Won't you just come home?" And he said, "This is my home now. Your mom is my home." I said, bruh, you would have thought I was watching football. I was like, let's go. I was so hyped. I said, yo, that got me so hyped, bro. I can't even explain in words on this podcast, but I was so hyped because I was like, yo, that's a different kind of standing. Like, this is not just falling in love. This is standing in love. Like, when I heard that, I was like, oh man, listen to me. I was like, he was in his bag right there. So eventually, they have their moment together, and she comes out of it. She realizes this is their story, and she asked the best question in the whole film, and really the best question I feel like a person with dementia should ask: how much time do we have?
Hmm.
And they have that moment, and then it goes away, and he goes through a moment, and you still find out about his diagnosis. Basically, the movie ends up ending, and they end up passing together. Ash, what are some things you want to talk about in regards to the elderly Allie and Noah?
That you went crazy for. I have that right in my notes. He said, "That's my sweetheart in there." I was like,
Bruh.
that is so sweet. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
who doesn't want to be in love like that? Like, that was like wherever you go, I go, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, that is the line of the movie for sure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there is no home without her. Like, that's beautiful. Um, and you just dropped the gem on me too. Like, that was the house. She
Yeah.
wasn't at a facility.
No, no, bro. I said, yo, this plan was so elaborate.
I never knew that she wasn't at a facility.
No, nah,
Wait,
nah, bro. Go back and look. I said, yo, this
There's
plan was
no
so
way.
elaborate. Nah, yeah,
Are
bro.
you sure?
I'm sure. I looked at. I said, oh, that's the house. That's the
Bruh.
house. Cause
Wait.
here, just hold up. Let me. Y'all keep talking. Let me.
Okay.
I'll pull up some
Because if
shots.
that's true, like I'm definitely, I don't know what I was watching. I missed it all. But
Yeah.
I didn't have too much as them as elderly. Just I love how he was just, she like even when he went to the doctor and they say that's not irreversible, and he was like somebody must have turned the page, and he was like nope, she's playing that by memory. So he kept that faith that he talked about when they were younger, and she had moments of coming back to him, and who's to say how many times he read that story to her, like their
Exactly.
story, like that's beautiful. Like he probably I wonder how long it takes him to read it before she kind of like remembers, and then how many times he actually read it. Like I think that's amazing. But yeah, the kids, I mean, it was like she was staring at strangers, boy. Like I think I'm gonna go in now. Like there was nothing there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
kind of sad to
Exactly.
see. I was like, dang, not even the grandbabies or nothing. But
It's tough. That's your mom's, bro.
yeah,
Like you.
but
That's your mom that don't. She don't. She genuinely think you're somebody else's kid. She birthed you.
hmm
That's tough.
but
Yeah.
that's all I had. I didn't really have too much with them being elderly, but yeah.
Well, all I can say is
I'm
I
still in the
think
chat for y'all, by the way.
the the beautifully tragic and tragically beautiful thing about it is he would have done that every day. He was going to do that every day until they passed away, until he passed or until she passed, just so they could get that moment together. And he really had hope that in the end, she was going to come back to him. And she kind of did, because in that final moment where he snuck into her room before they passed away, she was there.
Mhm.
And in their final moments, she remembered who he was, and they got to go out together in that way that only the select few get to go out. And I've seen it happen in my
Mm.
life. Um, and it's sad, and I know that
Ain't no
it was
facility, bro.
sad for their children and grandchildren, but it's beautiful for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Ain't no facility ass. Come on, bro.
That is not the same place.
It is the same place. Look at the little side part, bro.
Where's the blue shutters? What are we talking about, man?
Bro,
So you saying that he just added on to it and it looked different
it
as
don't look different. Y'all
different
trying to
place.
y'all gassing like
It's
the different. It's
different.
like, bro,
Look at the
nah.
structure of the windows at the top and the door and the pillars and the come on now,
This
Lo.
is a different spot, bro.
Nah, bro.
It's different.
I don't think so. It could be a continuity thing, but I don't think it's if it's different,
Look at the
I don't
roof.
think it's meant to be different. Like I genuinely think like all because he's using all that he has to create the memory to come back. So it's like
Look at the roof.
He bring all them people like that. Don't even.
Other old people.
no, it does though. Like because he's going against science, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
Look
He
at
could
the
have kept her at the house. You see what I'm saying? Like,
bro, they live in a small town. They had one hotel in the town. He know everybody. Like it's not that hard. Like
feel like you want that to be true.
I don't
So
know, bro. Well,
but-
if I find something, I'll send it to you. But that I genuinely believe that because I was like, oh, that's like a real elaborate plan. Because like, why do they look that much similar?
they
I mean,
but
what colors are probably common like that type of.
they look different. The structure of the house is completely different.
Oh,
More
well, hey,
rounded, that
completely.
facility.
Completely is not the selection of words. Completely, bro. It's a 2-story plantation home. That is not completely different, bro.
Well, these are
Like they
these-
got like maybe 2 pillars versus a single pillar type of thing, but like
no, okay. There is, if you look at the top, where the roof is, and you have the 3 windows at the top where you see there's like a balcony up top.
Balcony. Mhm.
At their house, they have 4 pillars, 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside. If you go to the facility, there are no pillars on the outside. There's no balcony at the top. They're different places.
Well, it says right here, somebody asked the question, is the house in the Notebook the same as the nursing home? And they said, no, the house is the house in the Notebook is not the same as the nursing home. The house is a private residence on Wad Mala Island, South Carolina. Well, I don't know. See, well, that's like kind of like breaking the fourth wall, but let me see. While both homes have similar exteriors with a white facade, the columns, they're 2 different places. The Notebook house is a family home, and I get, well, here's what they're saying it, but what I'm trying to see is it intending to be that the same or not? More so like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes filming locations change based on budget or whatever. I just want to know, were they intending to try to say, oh, we're tying it all together there, or is it like, oh, we intentionally say this is a nursing home? That's more so what I'm saying is like,
It's a nursing home, bro.
I don't know why they would choose something that looks so similar. That to me.
So you're saying come back home, but he's like, no, I'm staying here with, like, you know what I mean? If that was the home, why are they telling him to come back home when they can just come over there? You know what I mean?
Because they have their own homes.
I know, but where do you want me to stay with y'all?
I mean, obviously, like you see how old you see how old he is, bro.
I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. It's a different place.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm more so saying like, again, like if it's a different place, that's fine. I'm trying to see why was that the choice to make them similar like that? If we're saying, okay, it's a different home, and they're saying in the research it's different home, why did y'all choose to make them look so similar? That's the bigger question for me, is like, okay, it's not the same place. It's not his home that he built. Why did y'all choose to make them look so similar? That's more my thing. It was that a ploy to remind her of something, or it was just happenstance. So I'm fine with that. If it's not the same home, that's fine.
You probably wanted to soften the transition, maybe. I could see, like, as a viewer, like, okay, yeah, she's in this nursing home, but it's still like I don't know, like a homey vibe or something. You know what I mean? Maybe they try to do some type of connection with the fact that she's in,
It's just like it's white. Like it's like it could have been so many different builds for a senior citizen home. That's all. It's I don't know, but fair enough. Anything else y'all want to add to the senior citizen plot of Noah and Allie? Obviously, we know they passed together. Did y'all feel like that was cliche?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing that to happen, but
yeah, I've seen something very similar happen
Mm.
in my personal life, and it happens. It happens.
Yeah, that was probably the one part I didn't like.
Really?
Yeah, it felt too cliche to me. It just felt too. It's a little. Not that it doesn't happen. Like you obviously experienced it, seen it for yourself. It just felt a little too on the mark. Like, but it's fine for a movie like this because we're going all the way. They're doing the cinematography with the birds in the river. We're going all the way. You know what I mean? He's hanging off. So. But to me, like when you get away from all of that, like it's like, maybe a few days later, Noah.
What do you always say when because I can't think of it, Mo, but you say it with so many movies when you remember it a different way than how it.
Mandela effect?
Yes. I have a Mandela effect with this movie.
Okay.
For some reason, every time I watch it, in my mind, I remembered him like giving her some pills and them like dying together because they intentionally did that, like took some pills or something.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently no, they just passed away together. But in my mind, no matter how many times I've watched it,
Wow.
I always thought that they did that intentionally. Like they
Mm.
took something and went to sleep because they wanted to go together. I don't know why. That's
It,
just how I remembered it
you
in
know, the
my
tricky part is you got to figure out what movie you got it from. Because most times that memory ain't coming from nowhere. You just got to figure out where the hell did I get that from? Because it's from a movie you seen. You just got to figure out where did it come from that you're tying it into this one.
It has to be from somewhere because I
Yeah,
remember it that day.
yeah.
And then I only have one more thing is I think it's interesting how when he's looking at the notebook at the end, when I saw that note that she had left about the notebook,
Mm-hmm.
the pictures of them as younger people were pictures of the actual Allie and Noah, like who are the older couple. And so I'm thinking that Ryan Gosling's character and Rachel McAdams as Noah and Allie are probably how she imagines it in her head while he's reading the story. Because the pictures, like she's blonde, she's clearly blonde, and he's clearly brunette, and they're completely different people, but it's them as younger people. But then when he's telling the story and we're seeing it, it's Rachel McAdams with the brunette hair and Ryan Gosling with the blonde hair. So I'm thinking while he's telling the story, she's imagining those as the characters in the book that he's reading, but it's not really supposed to be them.
Ah. Did you get that? You just got that this time around?
No, I've thought that before because
Wow.
it always catches me at the end when he's looking at the pictures of them when they were younger. I'm like, that's not Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, it's
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm.
But this is who she's imagining while he's reading the story.
Wow. Okay. Is that all you have for them, Ash, as well?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, let's go on and keep it pushing here then. Ash, character you relate to or identify with the most. And you could be very specific. I know we get into a lot of main characters driven things versus ensemble. So I try to be specific in what era, what time period, whatever it is. So by any means, feel free. Who do you identify with or relate to the most?
At first, this was hard for me. I was like, I couldn't really relate to either one, or I couldn't really find my placing. But when I thought deeper into it, I'm going with Allie, the younger Allie,
Mm.
in the sense of the support factor with her mother. And of course, I love my mother. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes
It
it
be like
feels,
that.
yeah. Sometimes it be like that. It's like there's a contingency to the support level if I'm not aligned with the way that you think I should be doing things, or
Mhm. Your experience.
yeah, my experience, my decision making. So
Yeah.
definitely had to relate to Allie in that manner. You know, sometimes as parents, man, you
Yeah.
gotta let your kids do their own thing. Trust that everything you taught us growing up, the moral compass is good, but from that point on, I got it, you know. So
Yeah. I feel you.
yeah.
I feel you on that. That's a great point. What about you, Mia?
Oy, oy, oy. Okay. So I had to go with younger Allie too.
Mm.
And for very personal reasons, I'll say I've been the person who did what you were supposed to do and discovered that sometimes the thing that everybody expects you to do or the thing that you feel like you're supposed to do isn't always what's true to you. And sometimes you have to make a decision to be true to yourself and go with what aligns with you and what feels right, even if some people are going to be disappointed or if it's not if you can't live with yourself, if
Mhm.
you go on doing the thing that is expected of you.
Yeah. I got young Noah. For me, there was this fire in him. It's this kind of this me against the world vibe. It reminds me of myself. There's this certain when I reach a certain part, I'm thinking more college esque Maurice, when my confidence got up and he had this zeal for what he wanted. Um, I wasn't necessarily that extreme, but I mean, I probably had a version of that extreme in my own way. But like that, just that fieriness when you're tapped into like your confidence. So definitely like young Noah. Get to stepping. A character you could do without. Ash.
You gotta get to Steppin.
Say it again.
Allie's mother, the
You said
mother of Allie.
you said who?
Allie's mother. Yeah, she got to go. We kind of already said all the reasons. She was just terrible. So yeah,
That's off the heels of Lyric.
that's all I got.
I like Lyric. Got to get up out of here, boy. All right, she like, bro. Why do I do this podcast? No, me and you. Who you got that could get to stepping?
I actually said Allie's dad.
Mm.
And only because even though we can't stand her mom, I think she drove the plot in a lot of ways and drove some of Allie's decisions that ultimately, led to us getting the story that we got. Her dad was so useless. Like he didn't help or hurt if he was there or not. Like if her mom was a widow, she would have pushed Allie to make the same decisions. Her dad didn't fight for her to do anything one way or the other. So I feel like he was just kind of there.
Very lukewarm.
Yeah, help me. Dang.
Help me. I'm about to don't worry, y'all. I'm about to get you out an actual right answer.
Oh man.
Here it is. Martha, she was totally unneeded. I think Martha, she was totally unneeded. This is Noah's love interest.
Oh.
She was by far the most useless. Like she was totally unneeded. We get her to show that Noah, basically that Noah can, make some things happen outside of Allie, if he wanted to. But like they were trying to like use it to balance the film, like, oh, Allie got something going on with Lon and he got something going on with Martha, but it was like, hey, we didn't need her. Like, you know what I mean? Like we didn't care about her. We didn't need her. I tried to give her some extra heart. I want to meet her. We did not. I mean, we cared. Nigga, we cared 0%. If there's a -0 in my world, bro, we cared that much. Like she didn't do anything. And you almost looking at it like, yo, wait a minute, is this you almost kind of like, is this Finn's girl? Like you kind of look like they kind of look alike. You almost, if you're not paying attention, you kind of like, wait, So she was like by far like the most useless, and she can get to stepping.
Wait, was she Finn's girl?
Nah, she wasn't. But like when I was watching, I was like, wait, all right, because I never seen it before, so I was looking like, wait a minute,
I almost forgot she was even there, if I'm being honest.
See? Things you would change about the movie or what they didn't get right in your opinion, Ash.
Have anything wrote down? I guess I would say the timeline, like you said, maybe just the progression of Allie would have been. We didn't really see much other than, I mean, it was kind of like a constant with her. She was already well off and stuff like that, so we didn't get to see like, oh, what does she do for work? Or like, oh, I mean, I know she was still in school, but I don't know. She did the nursing thing, I guess, but maybe a little more with Allie. But yeah, that's it.
I like it. I liked it. I'll speak to that a little bit more. Me, G.
I didn't have anything down either. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. If I could change anything, I suppose we could have gave her mom a little bit more heart. Just a little bit more something, even if it was a little bit more on the negative side, or like, because even though she was horrible, it wasn't necessarily like she wasn't like a villain. I needed a little bit more something.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no, I don't necessarily think that there was any flaw.
I like it. I got a few things. So, Allie and Noah, their kids had black hair. She was a redhead. He was a blonde. Brunette, arguably. Why your kids got black hair? Okay. Next thing. I wish they would have just did the makeup with, Ryan Gosling, with them two, like as elderly. I get it. Like in 04 and 90s, like they're just gonna cast an older person because people, they believe you just look totally different. But we coming off the heels of Jason's lyric when we talked about how the kids mirrored very strongly the adult casting. For me, it's like, bro, I don't believe y'all turned into this. And it bothers me.
That's what I was saying about the pictures. I don't think that was supposed to be them.
What the younger version? Which part?
So you remember how when he was looking at the notebook as older, he was looking at pictures of them when they were younger, but the younger pictures were not Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. It was like
the actual older characters younger.
Yeah, so I think that they weren't necessarily supposed to have grown into them. I think those were just the characters in her mind while he's reading the story.
Oh, now I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think that because in the picture he had dark hair and she was blonde. Like if you go back later tonight and look at that scene when he's looking at the pictures of them when they were young, they look like them.
You should you got to send that to us if you got the time. Like, yeah, drop that in. That is really interesting. Now I get it. So them two, that the actors that play the younger Noah and them, they are caricatures in her mind. Yeah, but they're not actually who it is. Like, okay, now that's different. That makes it better. Yeah, I like your theory. Like I said the makeup thing. I think that was it. Just those two things. I'm gonna with y'all with the timeline thing. I just wish with Allie they would have gave her more heart. Like if this is not a romance movie, you're really looking at Allie as just this privileged character, this whiny privileged character. Like really, like if we wasn't looking at it as a romantic thing, you're smacking this man up, beating him up for breaking up with you after he just heard your mom call him trash. Damn near stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like just on some like, because my class, I don't make the same kind of money and I work hard and I don't need much. She was just like dogging him right there on the other side of the door. And it's like, I'm breaking up with you because I'm trying to do you a favor. You beating me up about it, and so the timeline of it all, we never really got her heart. We just got her kind of on some trash. She was engaged, went back, pretty much got, got the D livery and, it changed the whole outcome. So, and lastly, Ash, what's the moral of the story in your opinion?
I got a blend of things. Life isn't perfect as a whole, and life is really just a series of perfect moments strung together. What I also gather is love isn't always easy or straightforward, but it's always worth the effort for the right person.
What about you, Meg G?
Let's see what I had in my notes. Okay, so what I had was just be true to yourself, follow your heart, and it's really that simple,
Yeah. Okay. For me, at some point, you have to ask, what do you want? Is a strong line in the episode, strong line in the film. What do you want? From the words of Noah. Stop thinking about everybody else. What do they think? What are they going to feel? What do you want? And you have to make a decision for yourself, no matter how anyone feels about it. We often make decisions based on how it affects everyone, but at some point, you're going to have to make a decision that maybe nobody agrees with. But what
Mhm.
do you want? And that was such a strong line. All right, so here's what we're going to do, y'all. Announcement alert. So as we close in this episode, what we're going to do is, since it's 3 of us and there's most times 4 weeks in a month, we decided that when our TGIF, thank God it's Friday, thank goodness it's Friday, however you want to word it, we get into like the television side of nostalgia. So what we're going to do is on our 4th week of the month, we're going to do those, and those episodes will release on Friday. So with that being said, our next episode will be released on Friday. So when you're hearing this, it won't be the Friday in the same week, but it'll be the following week. And just to give y'all a heads up, we're going to be talking about our favorite TV couples to conclude our Candygram month. Okay, so y'all be tuned in for that. Y'all don't know where we're going to go, but we're going to have fun with it. It's obviously a different show format, different sounds, different everything about it, but we're going to have fun on the television side of the Childish Grown Up Show. So y'all hear this episode, and then our next episode won't be out on the same day the following week, but it'll be out on Friday. It'll be our second installment of TGIF. But y'all know what time it is. Y'all been listening. Y'all been having a good day at work, hopefully, or on the road, or wherever you at this point. It's time for us to get in. We've been sharing so much insight and so much fun. Thank y'all for listening, man. Got to get back to the crib, as y'all know. That's it for us. Peace out.